Do you want to know why I have that taped? Well, it's time. Let's talk emissions with a Freightliner Cascadia with a DD15 engine. Well, first, let me start off by saying I am not an expert whatsoever in emission. So anything that comes out of this video and you copy it, I'm not liable for it. I mean, I don't care what you do to your... Just don't model yours onto mine, because I know how this system works and it should be the same for any Freightliner Cascadia, right? But I have done extensive studies and research on how the system works as far as the emission. I already know how the internal combustion work, but as far as the emission and stuff like that they added on to this EGR to your DEF and to your DPFs and whatnot, I've done plenty of sleepless nights studying this, and I have to say that I am very confident on what I'm doing with this truck. If your system is working correctly, right, as far as everything else, sensors, your pump, your number 7 injector, and everything is working properly, and then you keep on getting code 4364, specifically SPN 4364 FMI18. What does that mean? Well, that means your NOx conversion is off. That means your inlet and or outlet sensor are not getting good reading coming from the engine. So it's gonna throw that code. So basically it's a general code, right? So it could be your inlet sensor, it could be your outlet sensor, it could be, heck, it could be your DPF clogged up. So whatever that is, it's a generalized code. So let's say you keep getting that code and you know for a fact that everything is good as far as like the pump, and that's the only code that you're getting. That means you're having a NOx conversion in your one box. Okay, there's a problem in there somewhere, and a lot of times a lot of the dealers or a lot of the mechanic shop, they're like, okay, just change both NOx sensors. Well, that's $400 a piece, not including the labor. Come on now. Okay, so if you know those NOx sensors, they're just like your oxygen sensor in your car. It's just different parameters, right? It's just different reading. And your NOx sensor in your car, it does not go out at, 20,000-30,000 miles. You know what I mean? So and they're not, these NOx sensors, all they do is read. They just read an input. That's it. And they can't go bad that often. Your shop would probably recommend, well, it's gotta be the one box. And the one box is not cheap. That's like, of course it's gonna fix the problem. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, it was the one box. They replaced the one box, boom, it's good to go. Of course it's gonna fix the problem because you're putting everything in there new. That's not troubleshooting in a sense, especially with that amount of money. With the one box and stuff, what the problem is really is, I think, is bad engineering, bad programming, and I don't think they're ever gonna change that. The values are way too high, so it has to have a mission of a certain amount, and if that amount is not met, code throws. So it's just way too high. It's just too much of expectation. Because I mean, it could have been anything. It could have been just like maybe one of your 7th injector did not fire properly at just that 1 second, and then it throws you that code. I mean, I know it's gonna recheck again, right? The system would recheck again, but it's just a lot of times it throws you into a derate mode if that don't get corrected correctly right away. So why do I have that sensor hanging outside? Well, that's the outlet NOx sensor. I keep getting that 4364 code, and it's a NOx conversion code, and I know the system is good, so I just put the freaking knock sensor outside, the outlet knock sensor outside. Now it's the cleanest truck on earth. But one thing I do, I have to keep note is that how often I change or dip and bake those filters. Those filters is the most crucial part here, is that you gotta make sure you don't have no clog in those filters. Okay, so I'm gonna do it at 100,000 miles. A lot of people recommend it around 130, 150,000, but I'll do it at 100,000 miles, which is like 30,000 miles away. So and then I'll put the system back to where it should have been factory wise, and maybe I'll be selling the truck then. I don't know. So let me try to explain this the best that I can. That's your EGR cooler. I mean, not cooler, but that's your EGR. This little thing right here, it's the controller for it. It opens, it's the one that's controlling that rod to open how much of the exhaust is going to let back into the intake. This is your EGR cooler, which has a coolant system running to it, cools down the air, or at least try to cool it down before it goes back into the intake. You want cool air coming into your intake, and the air goes back through here, not here, but through here, the bottom part, and that piece right there is your delta P sensor. So what that sensor does is measure two different pressure point, and it tells the EGR on how much to open and close. So basically, if everything worked as it should have been, it should look something like that. It should be a clean exhaust. It should not have any black exhaust on there. All right, had to step back inside. It's a little cold outside, but so why do I have a tape there? Okay, number one, I know my system, the DEF and the DPFs and the whole SCR1 box. I know that's good to go. Everything is good because I have dipped and baked the DPF filters. Okay, they have this thing you dip and bake them, and then it cleans them to like 98% efficiency or something like that, something to those crazy numbers. So that's what I did. That cost me about $1,000, actually $1,200, including the filter or the clamps. I did it myself. If you get it to the dealership, if somebody did it the way I had it done, have them sent out bake and dip for over 24 hours, it would probably run you about $3,000. So I save over half. Number two, I know my knock sensors are good. I changed the inlet, I changed the outlet, and I know those are good. And then number three, I changed the delta P sensor. I did all of this because of doing research. By doing a whole lot of research and reading what people have to say, is that I think that was the best thing to do, is just to clean the whole thing, make sure everything is good to go. I even pulled out this number 7 injector. They said replace the number 7 injector. I didn't. I just looked at it. It's an injector. It's just like anything else. I just looked at it, open her up, and make sure everything is clean. Make sure it's working properly, because make sure it's not clogged. And then I put it back. I put it all back in there. So also the delta P sensor, that one I changed because that one could read different values, you know. So I changed that one. That one's new, and then I clean all the piping that's going in and out of there. So I know she is good to go, squared away. The pump, I'm not getting no codes from the pump. The only thing I'm really getting, you gotta remember, the only thing I'm really getting is 4364. That's it. It's just Knox conversion. That's all I'm getting. So what happens when I get that code, that 4364? Normally I would regen. I would do a regen on the truck, and it regens for about 30-40 minutes, and then it clears the code. Okay, and then I can move on. And then it normally appears when I have a lot of drag, such as like if I'm up on upwind. I got a lot of drag on the trailer, that code's gonna come up. If I got drag from climbing, that code is gonna come up. Why I have that sensor? That's the outlet knock sensor hanging outside. So the inlet's still intact the way it's supposed to be from factory. The outlet is hanging outside. So basically the outlet is reading outside air. So it's the cleanest truck on earth. Okay? But I know it's no issue. It's just that either that one box is getting old, and no, I'm not gonna pay $10,000 for a one box. No, not on this truck. Not what I had paid for this truck. No way. So that's why I have the outlet knock sensor hanging outside. Now I got no regen problem. I got no NOx conversion problems. Of course, I'm not gonna have one because the freaking outlet NOx sensor is hanging outside. But if you looked at my tailpipe, there's nothing there. You know, it's nice and clean, no issue. So it's just I'm gonna leave it like that until I get the DPF filters dipped and baked again, or get some reman filters, and then I'll put it back to its original factory settings. I know this video hasn't been that interesting, but for me, I think it's really important that you learn it, you study it, and if you didn't learn anything or if you didn't enjoy it, hey, at least I hope you got somewhat entertained on what I'm talking about. I know it's a whole bunch of gibberish, especially if you don't come from a mechanic background, but other than that, let me know what you think down below. Let me know how your Cascadias are running. Comment down below, and don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. We'll see y'all next time.